Hi, my name is Riley Landry, and I'm a senior at Woodstock High School, and I attend Inside Out, and I'm a small group leader in transit. Now, what I'm about to tell you is my whole life story, and what I want you to see throughout this story is not I don't want you to see myself and my works. I want you to see everything that God has done through me and how He has helped me overcome all my trials and tribulations and all my fun experiences I've had, and just how He's helped me in life. Now, we'll start out. I was born February 12th, 1998, and I was 2 months premature, so I was a little baby. I was 3 pounds, 11 ounces, and I wasn't much longer than a foot long. And I was expected to spend 2 months in the NICU, but I ended up beating the odds with the help of God, and I came out 20 days, and I left the hospital just weighing under 4 pounds. And after that, after birth, I was fine. But then when I turned 2, I was diagnosed with asthma. And now I don't remember being diagnosed with asthma because I was a little baby, but I'm sure for my parents, it was tough for them. And again, with the help of God, it helped them get through it today. And so after that, nothing really changed. Nothing really dramatic happened in my life. Elementary school went fine. I was passing all my classes, had an easy life, but it all changed in fifth grade. And that was when I suffered my first major injury, and that was a concussion. I was on an ATV, and it fortunately flipped over, and I hit my head on the roll bar, but luckily I was in a seatbelt. And after that, everything else was kind of blur. I kept waking up. The only thing I remember is waking up in this house and then falling back asleep. And the only other thing I remember besides waking up was being scared to tell my parents that I was on an ATV and that I crashed, because that whole weekend I wasn't supposed to be on an ATV. I promised them that I wouldn't go on one, but I did, and I ended up paying for my consequences. But the concussion only lasted about 2 weeks, and after that, I was concussion free and headache free, symptom free, whatever you want to call it. And I had to sit out for my whole football season because of just there was a good chance that I would get another one if I came back during the season. But I didn't have to sit out of the sport I loved, which was basketball. And after fifth grade, after that concussion, everything went great. Nothing really big happened. Sixth grade, still got injured, breaking bones, stuff like that. Seventh grade, same thing. But in middle school is where things got rough for me. My faith, I wouldn't say, I would say towards the end of my middle school year, my faith was tested, but I didn't really know what my faith was in middle school. I used to go to a church in East Cobb, and I hated going to that church. I would do anything and everything I can to not go to that church. I didn't know anyone, so I didn't like it. Every Sunday, I'd ask my parents, hey, can I go to a new church? And can we go to Watermark? Can we go to Woodstock City? Whatever. And they would say, nope, maybe next Sunday. So for about the next year and a half, sixth and seventh grade year, probably 2.5 years, sixth and seventh grade, and then part of eighth grade year, I attended a church I didn't like, and I didn't know about the whole God thing and what it was like, and if I was really into it and was wanted a path I wanted to follow. But luckily, in my eighth grade year, start of the new year, we started coming to Watermark. Now, the only reason we did that was to stay close to home, because a really good friend of mine, probably my best friend, he's like a brother to me now. His mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she was getting real ill, and whatever help we offered everything we could to them, and so whatever they needed, we did. And that's why we moved to Watermark, to stay closer to home on Sundays, because um, with the church in East Cobb, we'd get home at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon after lunch and everything. So the rest of the day it'd be hard to help them. But February 3rd, that was a Friday. I remember just like it was yesterday. My best friend's mom, Jake Matthews passed away of cancer. And my mom woke me up. It was on her birthday, actually. She woke me up, and just like a normal day, she woke me up, but this time she was crying, and I knew something was up. She she just didn't act like herself, and right when I saw her crying, I pretty much assumed the worst and figured out what happened. And she told me that his mother did pass away around 3 a.m. that morning. And the thing that killed me the most was not only did she pass away, but also the night before, I had the opportunity to go see her for the very last time, but I chose not to because I was in a bad mood or something. But I chose to be selfish. And for that, I didn't get to see her one last time. And to this day, that has really bothered me. But my mom did go get to see her and did get to talk with her. But after that day, I just kind of sat in my room. I was real quiet, didn't want to talk to anyone. I just questioned God, like, "Hey, why'd you let this happen?" And the next day, after things had died down a little bit, I went over to my buddy Jake's house to apologize for what had happened and let him know that I'm just here. And we talked it out and everything. But when I apologized, he said, "No, Riley, please don't apologize because she is now in heaven. She's pain free and she's in a safer place than she was before. And she's now protecting over us." And right then and there, I knew that that was the answer for all of what had happened in the past 24 hours. That she is now pretty much, I would consider her Jake's and I's guardian angel. And that was a big step for me to figure that out. And that's when I really started pursuing my faith. And come to my ninth grade year, I started going to Inside Out, and I loved it. It was awesome. I still love it today. But I got to meet some pretty cool guys and everything through that, and they really, the leaders who led me really pursued God in a way that I'd never seen before, and I wanted to be a part of that. So my ninth grade year at Vertical Reality, I got saved, and I remember that like it was yesterday too. It was I called one of my small group leaders up on a Wednesday and I was like, "Hey, I've been thinking about this lately, and I think I want to get saved this weekend." And so I did get saved, and it was awesome. A bunch of weight was lifted off my shoulders, and I just felt free, and it was the best feeling in the world. And then after that, the rest of my ninth grade year, I continued where I left off, getting hurt, broke a bone in my elbow, had to be in a sling for probably 4 weeks. So I had to sit out of basketball. And then after my ninth grade year, I finished it up fine with good grades and everything. But my sophomore year is where things got rough for me. I suffered a really bad concussion, and it knocked me out of school for 40 days of an 80-day semester. It was the last Monday practice of the season. I got elbowed in the temple, and the next thing I remember was I was leaning up against a wall. Now, I didn't pass out during any of that, but that time span is gone. My grades plummeted from A's and B's all the way to my highest grade being a 32 and my lowest grade being a 23. And with the help of my teachers, my parents, and me just continuing to pray to God, like, just whatever I needed, whatever's on my heart, I prayed to Him about. And through that, I was able to pass all my classes with all B's and one C. And that was a pretty big hump for me to get over because that's just unheard of. There's no possible way to go from a 23 to a 79 in a class in less than 40 days. It was awesome. And then after my sophomore year, everything went smoothly. I did over the summer of my freshman, sophomore, junior year, I was blessed to be able to serve at Lighthouse Family Retreats, which is where I just went and served families who had kids with childhood cancer. Whatever they needed, I did for them. And after that, was an awesome experience that I still keep in contact with some of the people, some of the patients and everything, and it's just an experience that I'll never forget. And then after my junior year was fine. after my concussion, I couldn't play sports in my junior year. I couldn't play sports, and now in my senior year, I couldn't play any sports, and that was devastating. But also, I got to be able to hunt and fish, which is what I love most. And then my senior year, which is now, I had ear surgery for a busted eardrum, which was back in September 4th, I believe. And the surgery part, the fixing of the eardrum went great, but somewhere between then and when I woke up, something went wrong. Because when I woke up, I lost all muscle usage of my arms and legs, and I woke up with a bad stutter. I couldn't pronounce any words. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't communicate what was wrong and if I had pain or whatnot. But the doctors don't know what happened and why it happened. But I just think, in light of what happened, I think that was the devil throwing me a test saying, hey, look, God let this happen to you, so what are you going to do now? And again, God proved to me that He is a good father and that He'll continue to keep me safe and help me overcome what was put on my shoulders. And after the surgery, I had to relearn how to walk and relearn how to use my arms. And I had to go to physical therapy twice a week. And my last therapy session will be March 30th, which is about 2 months earlier than what it should be. So that's a big, big improvement from September 4th to now. And through all this, the thing that has kept me sane in all this is, one, my parents and my friends and family and whatnot, but also God. He has kept me level. He's kept me steady. He's kept my feet on the ground, and He's let me know that everything will be okay. There is a reason for this, and I just think it's awesome that He's able to do that in such dark situations, such dark times for something like this. And I don't know what you guys are going through right now, but one thing I do know is that there is a God and that He is good, and He will provide for whatever you need, and He will always keep you safe and out of harm's way no matter what. Yeah, something bad may happen. There may be a death in the family. There may be a divorce, whatnot, but He will keep you. He will keep you sane and stuff like that, and that's just awesome. One thing that has also kept me strong is there's a chapter in Isaiah 43, 2 through 3. It says, I will be with you when you pass through the waters, when you walk through the fire. The flame will not burn you, for I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, and your Savior. And what that tells me is everything in light of what all I went through, that was all. The tide was rising, the waters were getting higher, the flames were getting bigger and roaring more. And I stood in all that mess, and I came out. I didn't get burned, and I didn't drown, and I couldn't have done that without God. And I just think that is something incredible, and that, and you guys, whatever you guys are going through right now, just don't forget that truth, that God will always be with you.